Another day, another story. The moral of Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift is multifaceted, offering commentary on human nature, society, and politics. Here are the key morals and themes. Welcome to Tabo Eminent channel. 1. Critique of human pride and vanity. Swift highlights human flaws like arrogance, self-importance, and pride. Through Gulliver's encounters with various societies, the novel mocks the self-centeredness of individuals and nations, suggesting that humility and self-awareness are crucial virtues. 2. Flaws in government and politics. Swift critiques political systems and leaders, exposing corruption, greed, and incompetence. The absurdities of the Lilliputians' political conflicts reflect real-world disputes, emphasizing the futility of power struggles and the need for ethical leadership. 3. Relativity of perspective. By placing Gulliver in vastly different worlds, tiny Lilliputians, giant Brobdingnagians, rational Houyhnhnms, Swift underscores how perspectives can vary dramatically. What seems important in one context may be trivial in another, encouraging readers to challenge their assumptions and biases. 4. The dangers of extremes. The Houyhnhnm's extreme rationality contrasts with the Yahoo's baseness, illustrating that neither pure reason nor unchecked instinct leads to a balanced life. A blend of reason and emotion is necessary for humanity to thrive. 5. Satire of human nature. The novel portrays humanity's tendencies toward conflict, greed, and irrationality. Swift encourages readers to reflect on these flaws and strive for self-improvement and societal progress. In essence, Gulliver's Travels is a satirical exploration of human nature and society, urging readers to reflect on their own behavior and the world around them. It challenges us to seek a more just, rational, and compassionate existence. 6. Voyage to Lilliput. Gulliver finds himself in a land of tiny people, the Lilliputians, who are just 6 inches tall. Despite their small size, they are obsessed with power and politics. The Lilliputians' petty conflicts, such as the war over which end of an egg to crack, symbolize the absurdity of human disputes, like religious or political wars. Moral. Swift mocks the trivialities of human conflicts and highlights the danger of pride and political corruption. Even small people in power can cause significant harm. 7. Voyage to Brobdingnag. Gulliver encounters the Brobdingnagians, a race of giants. In contrast to the Lilliputians, they are more moral and practical. When Gulliver boasts about human achievements such as gunpowder, the Brobdingnagian king is horrified, calling humanity odious vermin. Moral. This section critiques humanity's arrogance, violence, and lack of ethical foresight. It suggests that power should be tempered by morality and wisdom. 8. Voyage to Laputa, Balnibarbi, Lugnag, Glubdubdrib, and Japan. Gulliver visits Laputa, a floating island of intellectuals who are so obsessed with abstract thought that they are disconnected from practical realities. He also encounters ridiculous experiments on the ground, such as trying to extract sunlight from cucumbers. Later, in Lugnag, he meets the Struldbrugs, immortal people who live forever but without eternal youth, cursed with misery. Moral. Swift criticizes impractical science and the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake without real-world application. He also highlights the pitfalls of immortality, questioning humanity's obsession with eternal life. 9. Voyage to the land of the Houyhnhnms. Gulliver lands among the Houyhnhnms, a race of rational horses who live in a utopian society based on reason. However, they coexist with the Yahoos, brutish human-like creatures representing humanity's base instincts. Gulliver grows to admire the Houyhnhnms and despise humanity, even becoming alienated from his own species. Moral. This part critiques humanity's irrationality, violence, and greed. Swift questions whether pure rationality, Houyhnhnms, or primal instincts, Yahoos, is ideal, suggesting humans must balance both reason and emotion. 10. Ending. When Gulliver returns home, he cannot relate to humans anymore and prefers the company of horses, reflecting his disillusionment with humanity. 11. Voyage to Lilliput. After a shipwreck, Gulliver washes ashore in Lilliput, where he is tied down by the tiny Lilliputians. Though they are small, they are highly organized, with an emperor and a court full of scheming politicians. Key events. The Lilliputians treat Gulliver as both a potential weapon and a threat, depending on his behavior. They enlist Gulliver to help them in their war against Blefuscu, their rival nation. The war started over a disagreement on the proper way to crack an egg. On the big end, big Endians, or the small end, small Endians. Gulliver wades into the sea and drags the Blefuscudian navy to shore, securing victory for Lilliput. Despite his loyalty, the emperor turns against Gulliver, fearing his power. He is accused of treason for putting out a palace fire by urinating on it to save it, and for refusing to completely destroy Blefuscu. Outcome: Gulliver flees Lilliput and sails back to England, reflecting on the absurdity of human conflicts and petty power struggles. 12. Voyage to Brobdingnag. This time, Gulliver's ship is blown off course and he lands in Brobdingnag, a land of giants. Here, Gulliver is the tiny one, seen as a curious plaything. He is taken in by a farmer and eventually sold to the queen. Key events: the queen treats Gulliver kindly, but he is constantly humiliated by the differences in size. For example, flies appear as terrifying beasts to him, and he narrowly escapes being eaten by a giant cat. Gulliver attempts to impress the king by describing the accomplishments of Europe, including gunpowder and military advancements. The king, however, is horrified by the violence and greed of humans and calls them the most pernicious race of little odious vermin. Gulliver's small size exposes him to dangers, such as falling into a bowl of cream and being carried away by a monkey. Outcome: Gulliver is accidentally carried off by a giant eagle and dropped into the sea, where he is rescued by sailors. 13. Voyage to Laputa, Balnibarbi. And beyond, Gulliver's third voyage is more bizarre and abstract. He is rescued by the Laputans, inhabitants of a flying island obsessed with mathematics, music, and astronomy. Key events: the Laputans are so focused on intellectual pursuits that they are incapable of practical living. Servants must tap them with flappers to remind them to speak or listen. On the ground below Laputa, in Balnibarbi, Gulliver visits the Academy of Lagado, where absurd scientific experiments are being conducted, such as extracting sunbeams from cucumbers or turning human excrement back into food. These experiments parody the impracticality of certain scientific endeavors. In Glubbdubdrib, Gulliver meets ghosts of famous historical figures like Julius Caesar and Alexander the Great, who reveal the flaws and vices of past leaders. In Lugnag, Gulliver encounters the Strullbrugs, people who are immortal but age continuously, living in misery and despair. Outcome: Gulliver reflects on humanity's futile pursuit of knowledge, immortality, and power, realizing that wisdom is often wasted. Overall themes in the story: each voyage offers layers of meaning. Lilliput, mockery of petty politics and human pride. Brobdingnag, critique of humanity's moral flaws and obsession with power. Laputa, satire of impractical intellectualism and blind scientific progress. Houyhnheims, a challenge to the balance between reason and humanity's emotional, instinctual side. Gulliver's increasing disillusionment with humanity throughout the novel makes the story darker as it progresses. In the end, Swift compels readers to reflect on their own behaviors and society's direction. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.